Okay, that looks like recording's underway. Good. Okay, so everyone, welcome. We have a healthy crowd here today, which is awesome. Um, so today we have Kelsey and Amanda, Kelsey Hodge and Amanda Brown from eChatter, and they're going to be presenting to us on navigating dating app investigations, which I think is going to be fantastic because I can't tell you how many people come to me as an OSINT analyst and say, hey, can you please find out whether this or that person's on dating apps, connected with this or that other person. Just it's a big area of interest for investigators and very difficult to navigate in many ways. I've dipped into it enough myself to know it's not simple. So Amanda and Kelsey are going to go over some approaches with us. I'm really excited about that. They'll also be talking about their services that they offer at eChatter, which I've used myself and would recommend. Um, and just a quick intro, Amanda's the operations manager and OSINT analyst, and Kelsey is the assistant manager and OSINT analyst at eChatter. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being with us today. I am, I think you're welcome to moderate the chat. If people have questions in the chat, I'll also keep an eye on it.
okay.
And I think, Kelsey, you said yesterday you'd like to take questions at the end of your presentation.
Yes, yeah, we'll have time. Hopefully, I'm going to talk real fast, but we'll hopefully have some time at the end for some questions, and anything that's put in the chat, we'll make sure we get to at the end as well.
Great. Well, we are recording. I think we are all set, ready to go.
Perfect. I'm just going to get my screen shared, make sure everything looks good for everyone. I think we're good. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All
And I'll
right.
just tell before you start, actually, let's have everybody mute their mics so we don't have interruptions. And then if you need to speak later, you can unmute.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and roll. Well, first of all, thank you, Claire and PIAI. We are so happy to be here with you guys today and present, and we hope that you find this to be very informative and helpful. As Claire said, my name is Amanda. I'm operations manager. We're here with Kelsey. She's my assistant manager. She also really specializes in dating app searches and infidelity cases. Like I just previously said, we are a sister company to Ann Michaels and Associates, which is a market research firm. And we kind of have leveraged our information and our knowledge on research and kind of have taken it and applied it over the years to eChatter for open source intelligence and social media investigations. Today, our meeting is called Unmasking the Truth, the Role of Dating App Searches in Private Investigation. Before we begin, me and Kelsey are just going to take ourselves off of the screen here just so that you can focus exactly in on our PowerPoint and the information that's provided. We'll go ahead and monitor the chat for questions. Feel free to submit a question throughout our presentation, and we will go ahead and begin. Kelsey, lead the way.
All right, beautiful. Just starting out, we have a couple just safety tips for digital searching. Obviously, this is probably stuff that you guys are already familiar with, but establishing those proxy accounts, so any kind of sock puppet accounts, is vital to doing your investigation online. Additionally, just having that VPN available, some of the VPN apps that you can choose from if you don't have one already: NordVPNs, Surfshark, Norton, Cyber, great options. Additionally, just having that chain of custody software. So that's something that we focus on here at eChatter. Is we personally use Hunchly as our chain of custody software. It's really great for any kind of social media or deep to the depth of our talk today. We are going to be starting out with our first section here, just navigating some popular dating applications. Again, I will preface to at the end of our presentation, we'll have a QR code and a link to our client portal. And our client portal features a learning management system that dives even deeper into this first section of dating applications. You can go on there. It's completely free, and it gives you a little bit more of, even more information than what we're going to be covering today. But diving right in, the first application we're going to talk about is Bumble. So Bumble is one of the most popular dating apps currently on the market. It has 12.3 million daily users and a monthly user base of about 17 million people. The average age on Bumble is going to be 26 years old. So I always like to tell our PIs or our clients that come to us wanting to do dating app investigations, it's always great to know that, yes, that age range does go up into the 50s, 60s, believe it or not, 70s. But that median age on most of the applications we're going to be discussing today is around that 26-year-old mark, with the largest segment of the applications having 18 to 29-year-olds. So Bumble's mobile application is super user-friendly, and it couldn't be easier to use. It is available on the web browser as well. But using it on the app, I highly recommend doing it that way. But a few things we're going to discuss with Bumble is incognito mode, message features, and some usage modes. So first things first is just some of those usage modes or application modes specifically with Bumble. This is unique to the world of dating apps. This is not a normal thing, but on Bumble, you are able to choose the mode in which you use the application. So obviously, the most commonly used mode is to date. So people are going on there to find short or long-term connections with individuals. But there are two other options. So you can join Bumble BFF, which is to make friends and just find community. And then also a Bumble business mode, which is just networking, outside of LinkedIn or any of those business networking sites. So it's always good to notate if you have a client coming to you saying, I found, Bumble on my wife's phone or whatever, it could very well lead to that they're cheating on them or trying to find somebody to date or whatever. But there are two other modes that is important to notate. Incognito mode is something that we'll see across all of the applications that we're going to be covering today. But specifically on Bumble, what this is it hides your profile from potential matches. So the only time that people will see your profile is when you swipe on them and send a like. So that's very important to notate. That's actually in our disclaimer when we do these searches for our clients. Stating that on a lot of these applications, somebody can be going to great lengths to hide their profile from being seen. So it always needs to be something that is, addressed. Can everybody hear me okay? I just saw something pop in the chat about audio issues. Just want to double check.
It seems to have fixed now.
Okay, perfect. Just pop in that chat if you guys are having any issues. Hopefully we'll be good to go. But moving on here, we have a snooze feature. So this snooze feature is something that you'll see along a lot of the dating applications as well. So realistically, what this does is it puts your profile on pause from all modes on Bumble. You won't lose any chats or connections with people. Often this feature is used, once you've made a connection with somebody, you don't necessarily want to delete your profile, but just put it on pause. So these two features in particular are featured on most of the dating apps we're covering today. Additionally, we have some message features on Bumble, specifically on this dating app. Both parties, male and female or whoever is liking each other, have to match before messaging can ensue. And once that message chat is open, there's multiple forms of communication on the app, such as voice memos. You can do calls and video chats all within the application. And that chat will remain there open until either one of the parties unmatches each other or the chat is deleted, profiles are deleted, and so forth. Moving on to Hinge. This is another big player right now in dating applications. It has 15 million daily users and 16 million monthly users. Again, that average age is around 25 years old, with that largest segment of users being in the 18 to 29-year-old range. This is one of the only applications we're covering today that cannot be accessed from the web. So this application is on a mobile device only, either Android or Apple, whichever you're using. But a couple things we're going to talk about with Hinge are just preferences and unique features and settings of the app. So dating preferences, this is something that is pretty universal across all of the applications that we're going to be discussing today, and just dating apps in general. These are going to be the preferences that you set up on your profile when you are creating your account. So you're going to say, I'm interested in men or women or both. You're setting your location, you're setting the radius of searching that you want to do, anywhere from 5 miles around your direct location up to 100. Some of them even go up further than that. Additionally, you're setting age range. You can do religion, ethnicity, relationship types, all of the above. And then you also have those premium filters. So the dating apps provide you with filters that most likely you have to pay for, have some kind of subscription base with the platform itself to filter down even further what you're seeing in your main feed. So this goes anywhere from height to if they have children, if they want to have kids, if they, smoke, drink, do, drugs, any of the above. Which I don't know why anybody would want to admit to that on a platform, but it gives you the option to. And I always like to make sure people know too, if you're conducting your own dating application search, keeping these filters somewhat basic is important, because what we'll cover later, a big myth with dating application searches is that, if they're suspicious there's a spouse is cheating or whatever the case is, most likely if they're hiding that they are on a dating app and cheating, they're not going to be truthful about their life, who they are, what they're interested in, their stats. So keeping things a little basic, more towards age and just the general location is always kind of key on that. And then some profile settings on Hinge. It also allows you to pause or snooze your profile. Previously with Bumble, same thing goes for Hinge. App verification. So this is a big thing across most platforms. These applications, shockingly, do not require you to have a photo or selfie verification to have a profile on their application. It is something that is offered, and it is not required. It just absolutely blows my mind that it's not. But that's a good thing for us. If you're setting up a proxy account or a sock puppet account, you don't have to verify the profile to interact on the app. Additionally, with blocking, this is something specific to Hinge. It offers their users an opportunity to block people that they might know on the dating app. Usually this is based on a phone number association, so they can go through and block the individual. So either one of them, can't be found on the app. That's why, again, having a third party, either, you as a PI or us as, eChat doing this application search, we can completely skip over that hurdle. Additionally, we have OkCupid. This is one that is pretty well known. It is a little smaller than the others. It boasts about 1 million daily users and 2 million monthly users. But again, that age range on this application is 18 to 29-year-olds, going up all the way to 64. OkCupid is both online and through the mobile application. Again, we're going to kind of touch on the difference between the two a little later. Hold on one second, Gala. There we go. All right, so we're going to be discussing OkCupid location features, profile features, and different groups on the app. So groups and main feed on OkCupid, it appears a little bit different than other dating applications. You have that main feed where you're swiping per usual through the individuals, but then you also have that bar up at the top that groups individuals or different feeds of users. So it gives you an option to swipe through people who have super liked you, just people who have liked you. You can travel around the world with the passport group and be swiping through people in different countries. And then additionally, they give you that option of doing a group that is based off your match percentage score. So this is something unique to OkCupid that you're not going to see on the apps that we spoke about previously here. It provides users with an opportunity to fill out up to 500 plus questions, ranging from very simple preferences to deep moral questions, political questions, and the algorithm on OkCupid produces matches or people in your feed based off of the way that you answer those questions. Again, they aren't necessarily required, but if you were using the application in a more serious sense, you would definitely have multiple questions answered. And then location settings on OkCupid is actually, this one's one of the easiest apps to change your location on. You can just go into your settings and manually type in a zip code for the area that you want to search in. Your device does not have to be in that zip code. So that's obviously one of the biggest features with dating application searches is that, you could be searching for an individual if they travel for work, if they have a vacation home somewhere that they visit often or another property somewhere. Being able to access those different locations is key. And, on an application like Bumble, that is a paid feature where you have to go into what they call travel mode to be able to, see the feed of individuals in a different area than where your device is currently being used. So, OkCupid's very simple. You just pop in there and switch the zip code, and you're good to go. Tinder is another one. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this dating application. It's a big one. They have 42 million daily users and 75 million monthly users on this application. Again, that median age is around the 26 years old, but you have, again, everyone from 18 up into 60s, 70s. It just really depends on the area as well where you're searching. Tinder is both featured online and through mobile applications. So again, we're going to kind of touch base on online and application, like what the difference is between those two. But specifically for Tinder, we're going to be talking a little bit about some app culture, profile features, and their explore page. So on Tinder, we're going to touch here on this application visibility. While most of the applications allow their users to snooze or pause their profile or go into incognito mode, as we've discussed with Bumble and others, this feature on Tinder is a paid feature. So you cannot hide your profile from view unless you are paying for the application. And that's a big thing to notate because if, we're doing these searches and you're looking for somebody that's hiding their profile, you will be able to tap into, okay, so if they have a Tinder, they're paying for it. And so that then leads you to more of that, paper trail receipts. If they're charging, something to their credit card, it can kind of lead the investigation elsewhere. But most commonly, they're probably not going to be paying for that feature because they don't want the receipts. So that's a good users, a very unique feature, which is having a username for their web profile. So this is a big myth that we see with dating application searches and just, clients' beliefs. Usernames really have no purpose in a dating application search. And emphasis on it being more of the application base. Tinder is one of the only applications out there on the market that offers users an ability to set a username for their profile. Again, this is not something that they require. It's not in the initial setup of the application. It is really deep in the settings, and you have to go in there and set it up yourself. So finding somebody based on a username on Tinder or any application for that matter is a little rare, but it is a possibility on this one. Additionally, Tinder has something different. They have an explore page that offers a unique experience outside of that main feed swiping. Members can join multiple different groups, which provides people with a select group of individuals looking for exactly what you're looking for. So they have groups for people looking for friendship, chatting, long-term relationships or reputation. If you are familiar with Tinder, you know that it has quite a reputation for itself as a hookup app. Not necessarily, everyone on there is looking to hook up, but it has a large majority of people looking for those short-term interactions rather than long-term relationships. And that leads us to Grindr. This is a very interesting application. I use the term dating app for this one very loosely. It definitely feels unlike any other that we're going to be covering here today. This application is specifically for men looking for men. So that should be notated too when you're starting your journey through this dating application search process. But it is a popular app. It has 27 million users and 3.6 million daily users. Again, that age range is identical. It is that 26 years old mark for being the average age. And additionally, 18 to 24-year-olds are the largest segment of the user base. Again, this application is both featured on the web browser and through the mobile application for iPhone and Android. But specifically with Grindr, we're going to touch on some functionality of the app, user behavior, and some challenges. So some unique functionality. Grindr really stands out from traditional dating apps, as I've said, in many ways, but one of them being the main feed that you're normally swiping through on all these applications. It appears as a grid on Grindr. It is a location-based grid prioritizing people who are nearby over just people that you're swiping through consistently on other applications. What's interesting about Grindr is, yes, it allows you to view people's profiles for free, but you have a limit. So it's up to 100 profiles. Premium tiers like Extra and Unlimited on Grindr expand the limit, so you can swipe through all of your options in the area. And that is, something to be notated, because all of the previous applications, you can swipe until there's nobody left to swipe on. And for something like Grindr, if you're searching a particular location, you might have to pay for that premium tier to be able to see all your options in that area. Again, advanced filters. Grindr offers unique filters that go beyond the typical age and distance settings, allowing users to refine their searches by tribes, so identity groups, trans, discrete, jock, geek, any of those. Additionally, they have relationship status filters, because you can mark on this app that you are married and looking, or that you're in an open relationship, or that you're single. People put on there that, specifics about their body type or what they're looking. They have HIV statuses and last active times as filters as well. Additionally, they have the Right Now feature that lets users filter to those who are immediately available to meet as connections. I will notate too that Grindr is one of the only applications that has such a feature as a host. It allows you, when you're setting up your profile as well as filtering through others, to specify if you're willing to host the individual at your house, or if you want them to host you, or if you want to meet up in a bar or a restaurant. furthering that kind of belief that this is not really your typical dating application, rather than it is strictly for hookups. So just something to notate on there as well. But redefining some profile norms, user behavior on Grindr differs significantly from other dating applications. So unlike traditional platforms where, the profiles often include long bios, the answered prompts, detailed interests, all of that, Grindr's is so streamlined. There's really no fluff. They get right to it. The available profiles, once you're clicked on an individual and you're viewing their profile in detail, photos are at the top that you can swipe through to see what they've uploaded. And then following that is just some basic information such as their age, their name, if provided, preferred role, HI users seeking. Some profiles may also feature additional details like tags and stats, height and weight, body type, and relationship status, if even filled out. So, and something also that is should be notated on Grindr is that there is no matching. Users can send likes or what they consider taps to individuals on the app, but you can just go straight into messaging somebody. There's no, I like them, they like me back, and we matched, and now we can message. It's just straight to it. Again, this is really pushing users towards this short-term casual interaction rather than relationships, often seeking the hookups, chats, and adult content exchanges. So this is one of the few dating apps, and again, I use that term pretty loosely, that allows users to just go right into sharing adult content, photos and videos. It's actually a filter on your profile when you build yours and when you're viewing others. If you are happy to accept the adult content, or if you don't want it, vice versa. Very, very unique, and definitely makes this an interesting application to search through. Something to notate as well is that, this app, people like to be extremely anonymous. So a lot of times their profile picture is not of their face. It's usually of their body. You will see some things on this application. I'll just say that. But when the messaging begins with an individual, that's usually when some feel comfortable to share a picture of their face. But something unique about this app is that users can send expiring photos or videos. So if somebody is really wanting to be anonymous, they will send you, once you've exchanged a couple messages, they'll send you an expiring time limit photograph of their face. If they send any at all, that is also a feature on the app that you can filter down to people who only have pictures of their face, because it is so common to not have them at all. So some challenges of this app, all of the dating apps will present some challenges when doing an investigation, but Grindr, of course, has a few additional hurdles. The app, like I said, strongly promotes, being anonymous, being really low key on the application. So this results in, less identifiable information on profiles. So users are not required to even upload any photos at all, or provide details like their name. That is something that was quickly learned when we started doing these dating applications on Grindr, is that, as you can see on the image on the very far left, that is an active profile on Grindr currently, and they have no mention of their name. Their username is just looking now. And that is pretty status quo on the application. And because of this, making sure that you're obtaining your subject's stats, so their height and their weight, their direct location, that's even more critical when doing this investigation. Additionally, like other dating apps, Grindr offers that incognito mode to users who subscribe to the platform. So again, you might not see their profile, but you'd have the receipt that they are paying for a subscription. Additionally, one of the biggest hurdles for this is the discrete app icons. Again, this platform pushes being anonymous. So they give their users an opportunity to actually change the way the app appears on their phone. You can have it appear as a camera, music app, notes, a calculator, and not the traditional Grinder logo. So if you are suspicious that your spouse is cheating on you and you go on their phone to see if they are on Grinder, you might not necessarily see the app right away if they have any of these other options engaged. So we're going to dive into some lesser known alternative applications. Obviously, there's countless amounts of dating applications on the market. The ones that we just covered, those are the ones that eChatter that we touch upon when we do our dating application searches. These next ones that I'm going to show you are just a peek into some of the other ones on the market and some of the ones that have some additional challenges when doing an investigation. So Match is always one that gets brought up to us a lot. It's by far one of the largest dating applications and longest standing dating applications. And it's very specifically, marketed and really is for people who are looking for those long-term serious relationships. So it pulls all of those provided details when you set up your account, such as your interests and lifestyle choices, personal preferences to locate your potential matches. During the setup process, users are required to provide extensive information to build a profile, again, pushing the users more towards, being intentional about wanting a commitment on this application rather than something short term, such as Grindr or Tinder. Something specific, though, about Match that makes searching and using this as for investigative purposes a little difficult is that it requires users to verify their profile with a phone number. So attempts on our end, we've discovered to use a burner phone, a burner phone number to verify an account. They have very strict measures to prevent fraudulent accounts, including having moderators review your account as you're setting it up. If you're using any kind of AI automated tools to have an image of your sock puppet or whatever, they will catch that and they will block you from the platform. So it's not necessarily one that is good for these kinds of investigations, but it's always good to make sure you have that information to share with your client if they come to you looking specifically for content on that platform. Plenty of Fish is another great application. It is a prominent player right now in the online dating world. The setup process again is very similar to Match. It asks you very specific questions. Some are very basic, but some are extremely detailed. Some of them, are asking about your parents' marital status, the family dynamics, your income, and your ambition level. And though they say that those don't really, apply to the way that the algorithm works and who you're seeing in your main feed, again, they really encourage users to put more thought and effort into their profile, fostering on those meaningful connections rather than casual hookups. The application does present some challenges for location-based searching. Unlike the other dating apps, they do not provide a travel mode or easy features to, change your location. You have to kind of finesse it a little bit. You got to go in the settings, turn your location settings off so that they're not able to, directly see where your phone is at or where the device is at. And then you have to go in and manually enter the location. It's not as user friendly, I will say, based on all of the applications we're covering. This one, there's just something about it it's a little bit difficult to navigate. So for that, it's a personal preference on if you would want to include this in a dating application search or not. Hilly is a modern dating app that's again designed for both those short-term and long-term commitments. It is unlike many other dating applications because it actually requires users to verify their profile with a selfie. Just in terms of catfishing and all of that, it's I'm so happy to see a dating apps like actually having people confirm their identity. But in regards to investigation of these accounts, it makes life a little bit more difficult because if you're using again that AI generated sock puppet, you're not going to have a face to take a selfie of to confirm the account. So this one is pretty quickly eliminated from investigative research, but also, good to notate in case a client comes and asks about it. Meet Me and Scout, these are very, very similar applications, almost 100% identical. They are considered more to be social networking applications designed for people to just find and meet new people through location-based discovery and live streaming. So these kind of differ from your traditional dating applications through those different kind of chatting and social interactions. A lot of times the profiles feature, very little about the individual. There's a lack of, again, people actually listing their name or their, stats, their demographic information, making it a little bit harder to search. Again, these applications have a pretty strong focus on being anonymous. So for those reasons, they're not the best choices for investigative purposes. And finally, here we have Raya. So if you're not familiar with Raya, it is an exclusive membership-based dating app known for catering to high-profile individuals and specifically celebrities, creatives, and industry professionals. If you all are familiar with John Mayer, he has been known to have a Raya profile for a very long time. Um, Unlike mainstream dating platforms, access to Raya is extremely restricted. Users must submit an application which undergoes a strict review process, and many are placed on an indefinite wait list. One of the biggest challenges with Raya is, of course, its referral system. Um, there's rumors that if you have more referrals, you'll get on the platform quicker, and the referrals have to come from people who have a long-standing relationship with the app, who've been on there or, currently or previously. But while those recommendations are great, it doesn't actually give you a guaranteed acceptance to the app. Some additional security things on here as well kind of make it hard to use in a dating app investigation. They do have a no screenshot policy and it's very, very limiting outside visibility. So again, for investigative purposes, not the best application to search, but if you are an individual who has, people come to you, you have high profile individuals that you're working with, this might come up and it's always good information to have. But we have some common dating application myths that Amanda is going to hop in on here just to kind of give you an idea of what some of our clients come to us asking or saying and what the truth is behind those myths.
So, common dating application myth number one would be you can access profiles from years ago that have since been deleted. The truth of that is dating application searches only return active and current profiles, not those that have been deleted or archived. And another myth would be users on dating apps only seek partners within their own demographic. The truth is, many users explore connections outside their age, group, background, typical preferences, or even specific desires or interests. Another myth would be dating application profiles can be found within a username. Most dating apps, note I say applications and not dating websites. They are not tied to a specific username, making it a little bit more difficult to locate. Another myth would be a person of interest will always represent themselves truthfully and transparently on dating apps. The truth is, many users will embellish and misrepresent themselves, whether it's photo, age, or personal information. Last one, a myth is if someone doesn't have a dating app on their phone, they don't have an active profile. The truth is, dating profiles can remain active even if the app is deleted from a device. Unless the account is manually deactivated or deleted, it may still appear in searches and be visible to other users. Additionally, if the app has been downloaded before, it can still appear in an Apple App Store purchase history under the cloud icon or in a Google Play Store library indicating past use. So that's always something key to remember when discussing this with your client. Some really great questions to ask your client prior to conducting a dating app search would be background on why your client thinks the subject is participating in online dating, general location of the subject or locations that they frequent, and then, of course, that basic demographic information and a photograph of the subject. Also, just any sort of, if they change their hair often or their hair color often, or have any body piercings or tattoos, those are all really good key details to know. And then we're going to go into dating apps versus online dating now. And what is the difference? So, online dating can take several different forms, and understanding these differences are definitely crucial when you're engaging with a client. There's definitely a difference between the two. While many dating applications, like we've discussed and that we do search, are accessible through a web browser, the experience is very different, and the app has more use and availability and features versus a website based dating site. Web-based dating sites are often uncovered during a deep web investigation that we conduct using our social media and open source intelligence tools or techniques. Many sites can pull up like a local meetup site or a niche dating site, just like Meet a Trucker right here on the side, as you can see. We really specialize in this and use advanced software and facial recognition software and manual search techniques to conduct these types of investigations. And then lastly, we always like to include this. Emojis have so many different meanings. There are plenty of other different meanings for emojis than what we have listed here, but here are just some basic ones for prescription drugs or relationship slang. And then lastly, this is a really great resource to you if you are going to be doing this on your own. We have a dating app questionnaire that you can just scan the QR code. This is something really wonderful to present to your client and have them fill out prior to you conducting any sort of dating app investigation. And then lastly, we have our client portal. If you scan this QR code, you can have direct access to ordering searches with us, speaking with an analyst directly. We have our learning modules that we have up on more in-depth content for dating app searches that we will be continuing to grow and build this year. We also, if you log into our portal, and request through me or Kelsey through the portal, we can present you with a sample of one of our reports. We have several redacted report samples of what it would look like to find somebody or to show possibles of someone, and then also what a report looks like if we don't find anyone.
I saw a request here too to throw the QR links up in the chat. I will go ahead and put our client portal link up there. You might have to reach out to me directly or reach out to Claire. Claire, you can advise on this. I can make sure that you have a copy of that dating app questionnaire for whoever needs it. But that will bring us here to the end of our presentation. Whoever ask them here quick.
Yeah, any questions? We're happy to take. No, we do not cover Ashley Madison currently.
for the client portal, do we need to put anything in the bottom? It's like saying if we were provided a company reference, like, do we need to reference this meeting or
No,
anything?
just make sure you just mark that you are you're a private investigator, that's your field, and we will screen those as they come in and make sure you guys get loaded in there and have access to the learning modules, as well as, you know, if you were ever interested to get sample reports from us on our dating application searches or any of our deep web social media investigative services as well. You can order that right through our client portal. You can store files on there. It's a really great little tool. I saw here in the chat from Tim, do any of these apps include time sensitive info, for example, location at a specific time or date? It really depends. I hope I'm answering your question correctly, but if you have an individual who is, say traveling for work, or they have a vacation home, and you know that location for them is something that you would want to search, the individual would have to be there in real time for us to be able to locate them in that zip code or that area. So in that regards, it does have a little bit of a effect on time sensitive info. Hopefully that answers your question.
I
Yeah,
can speak to that a little bit as somebody who's used your services before at eChatter, Kelsey, and I just know that, if we had a target at one point that we knew he was going to be in a certain area at a certain time,
Yes.
and that was something you guys could use to filter down and look at people only in that area who maybe match the height, weight, body type.
Yes, absolutely. That's vital information. If you were really to gather anything from your client when you're conducting these dating application searches, their photograph is one of the most important pieces, and then the location information. So really narrowing down something to notate. Okay, great, Tim. I see that was exactly what you were thinking. Wonderful. Yes, and to address what you wrote there too, yeah, if they were somewhere 2 weeks ago, we wouldn't necessarily be able to access that information. They'd have to be there in real time. But yeah, that location information is just vital for these kinds of searches. Again, too, and just notating if you have somebody in a larger city. We've had a lot of dating application searches for individuals in that main demographic of 18 to 29, 30-year-olds. We've had a couple clients from the Illinois area put through searches for Chicago. That definitely gets a little hairy. I think it's, you have to be very specific with your client as to the amount of individuals, because right now there's really no software on the market that is producing results for dating application searches. So everything that we do on our end is manual. It's human interaction directly on the applications themselves. So sorting through a really highly density area like Chicago, for somebody in that main age frame, it gets a little bit more difficult. It has to be way more time spent and details given. So just something to notate as well.
I have one more question. You talked about the paid accounts and how sometimes if receipts can be found. Is
Yes.
there, are those typically kind of disguised when you look at the receipts as well, or is there some way of recognizing them?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, obviously, I'm more familiar with Apple than I am for Android. I know that a lot of times through Android, it gets charged as something from your Google Play, or the like Google Play app or cloud, whatever that is for Android. For Apple, if you were to have access to a device that you were suspicious had dating applications on there, you can see the either expired or current subscriptions to those applications. But a lot of times it does get charged as just like an app store charge on the credit cards. But something to just notate with that too is just like the price points. If you do any kind of research on the subscription price points for any of these applications, if you're seeing something recurring monthly, you can kind of pinpoint, the possibility of it linking to a dating application.
I do have a question. It's not necessarily related to private investigations, because I also work as a Title IX investigator for a university, and we often get, sexual assault cases, stalking cases, harassment cases, and we work with the police department, and we can subpoena sometimes things, normally with Snapchat. But do you know which companies are better, like, at actually sending you information, or can you even get messages from the dating apps?
It's
There's-
possible. I don't have too much information on that myself. I would assume, a lot of these dating applications really value like the privacy and all of that. Obviously, it's still public content that when it gets a little bit different when you're going into messages. I do think, obviously, as you said, it would be a subpoena
Mhm.
either of the device itself or to the company for the information. I would assume that they'd be pretty easy to work with. Thankfully, the good thing about the applications themselves are that unless they go through and delete all their messages, those chats will remain there open for a while. So
Okay.
that's good to know.
Yeah, I think the only ones we've really had problems with in the past is Snapchat.
I
They
wish I
don't
had
like-
more details for you on that, but
Sorry, you're
yeah.
so it's cutting out. Sorry, but yeah, Snapchat's really the only one that like never wants to give us their information. But
Yes,
Thank you.
100%. I could see that. We had somebody else ask something in the chat here about a specific website. There are a lot of websites online, especially there's one that's like a friend finder. The one that was mentioned here in the chat, that all is something that we would access more through our deep web searches or social media searches, just searching usernames or associations with emails or phone numbers, facial recognition, anything like that. Those kinds of websites come up more in those particular searches than necessarily our dating application search.
And there's so many different dating websites out there. If you have a specific one that your client knows that they're on or specific kind of preferences, we will always look and investigate. We will always take time to dive into those dating websites, see what we can locate, anything that we can do to assist with any sort of online website, little minuscule dating website will do.
And that includes everything as well with escort sites. That's been a big one that we've dealt with. Obviously, a lot of pornography sites. There's some really weird sites that you've never heard of that we have uncovered through our deep web investigations, and it's endless amount of content. But The League is a new one. I have heard of The League. That one's kind of coming up in the market for sure. Like I said, there's endless amounts of these different applications and websites, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. And that's why we're here, to try to answer any questions or conduct the searches for you, because that's what we do all day. So we try to stay up to date with it all. So
Can you guys actually determine if somebody's using an escort service? Because I would think those would be even less information out there and from the users.
yeah, it's a little, and Amanda, you can maybe pop in on this too. It's for us, the experience that I've had in some of the searches that I've conducted has been more finding the people who are listing themselves as the escorts rather than the people who are using the service.
Yes.
So that's just something specific to notate on that as well. But some of them are very private. It's a little strange to navigate through some of those sites, but again, I mean, if they're paying for something, we would hope that there'd be a paper trail a little bit.
Well, we're pretty close to time, unless there's any final questions from anybody. Did you guys have any last words you wanted to share? You all wrapped up?
We're happy to answer anything else. And again, my email's on here. Amanda's is on here as well. So if you have any questions that you think of later, you can email us directly or give us a call. We're both the ones that answer the phone. So you'll get either one of us. But thank you guys for listening. Hopefully we touched on some things that were interesting for you and insightful.
Yes, we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And for everybody watching, the links to our YouTube channel are up in chat. That and also to our website where you'll find the past webinars as well. So if you ever want to go back and revisit this or share it, you're able and welcome to do that. We hope you do because this is great information and good visibility for eChatter as well, which is a great service. So thank you, Kelsey and Amanda. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
Guys, bye-bye.